Okay, so Scout here is a dog that unfortunately was the Guardians trying to do what was best for him, sent him off to a training school, and when he came back, his confidence was really shattered. And this is why one of the reasons I'm not a fan of sending a dog away. I want the Guardians to actually teach the dog, because sometimes you send it away, and a lot of these guys use really abusive and harsh methods, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened with Scout. And because it happened during his critical socialization period, it's left him with a very fearful state around people he doesn't know, especially people who have darker colored skin, because the trainer, unfortunately, or not unfortunately, but the trainer actually had darker colored skin as well. So we're going to build back up his confidence, and we're going to help him start to kind of have a little bit more structure, so he doesn't feel like he is responsible for the humans, which I think is part of the reason why he's so stressed out. So we're going to talk about some more rules off camera, but one of the things I asked the Guardians is if he comes and nudges them. Now, I already know that he comes and follows them around the house and likes to lean up against them. And those are signs of insecurity. When I came in, his body posture told me, he was saying, hey, I'm not comfortable with you being here, but he was showing every indication that he didn't have any confidence in what he was saying. He was just pleading almost with me to not come in, just because he didn't understand. So basically, the next time that he nudges you, when he nudges you, he's kind of telling you what to do. Pet me, pay attention to me. Now, just like a child, if we give the child everything it wants whenever it wants, after a while, the child gets a petulance. I deserve. It's a right for me to have my mom's attention. And after a while, when we pet a dog consistently when it asks for it, it gives the dog the impression that it has the same authority as that we do, or even more authority, because it tells the humans what to do and they do it. So I consider petting a dog our way of paying them. Most people pay the dog for doing what the dog wants, or if the dog nudges and scratches at you, it's demanding it. So what I like to do is the next time that Scout nudges you, ask him to sit. Ask him to lie down. So those are more subordinate body postures. And as soon as he sits, I like to scratch a dog under its chin if everything else is equal. Now, if his butt is here, his head's over there, I can scratch his butt. But when a dog is proud about what's done, its nose is parallel to the ground or tilted upward. So if we just get into a habit of always scratching him here, we facilitate that nose up orientation, which is a small little thing that if everybody gets a habit of petting him that way, several times a day we give him a little ego stroke, a little ego boost. The second thing that it does is it teaches the dog that I can't tell the humans what to do, I can ask them what to do. And the way that I ask them is through a new currency, and the currency is obedience. So if I come and sit in front of the humans, now they pet me. If I nudge them, they don't do anything. They tell me to sit, and as soon as I sit, then I'm rewarded for sitting. So the more that this happens, the more instead of scratching or nudging you, he's going to come start sitting in front of you saying, look, I'm sitting pretty, shouldn't you be paying attention to me? Yes, as much as we can. Now, sometimes you're going to be doing other things, you can't do it. But this also helps him with the concept of earning my praise. If you're given things, you appreciate them, but you don't appreciate them anywhere as much as if you have to get a job and earn that car or earn your vacation or whatever it is. So because he already has lower self-esteem, just giving it to him without any conditions can actually exacerbate the problem. We definitely do not want to pet him if he's anxious, fearful, or excited, any unbalanced state of mind. We would just want to pet him when he's calm like this. Now, if he's really nervous, we can touch him and hold our hand there, but we don't want to stroke. Best thing to do is if he's nervous and anxious is take him out for a short walk. Do something that gets him moving forward. Roll the ball. If he is moving forward, dogs will only pick one thing at a time, so that helps him focus on something else and takes his mind off of his worries. Now, what will frequently happen, and I have had this happen with multiple clients, where I tell them not to pet their dog, and in the middle of telling them not to pet their dog, they reach over and start petting their dog unconsciously. They don't even realize how often they do it. So what I would suggest you do is come up with a word like earn it or paycheck. So if you come in the room and see somebody is petting the dog is standing, you say paycheck, and that person stops petting, says sit. As soon as the dog sits, we reach over and pet and say sit, and then you can turn and tell your partner. I actually asked him to sit before he came in the room. He just stood up, and I continued petting him. But if you argue about it, now he knows we're all on different pages. We can do our own thing. But if you stop, then you are on the same page, and the dog is on the outsider. And dogs don't like to be there. They want to be part of the group. And it gives you another practice to help him sit. Now, what I like to do is I like to use a cupped hand like this, because for a dog, most dogs, it looks like you're holding something. Now, this is Los Angeles, so don't be like, you have to sell it. So if I don't have a pocket here. So I could even go like this. And now the dog is tracking where my hand is going because it looks like I have a treat. Now, the first week or so, always have a treat. So what I do is, if this is the dog's nose and his eyes, his tail's here, I hold my hand up just slightly over his head, and then I go up. As the dog tracks up, it'll put their butt into a sit position. Now I understand this is your command for sit, and we might talk about changing that because I think it's probably related to this guy who was abusive to the dog. So I like to use a hand motion because it just facilitates that nose up and puts their butt down, and then you deliver the treat and say the word simultaneously. We don't say good dog, good boy, oh Scout, what a smart dog, you sat down. We need to say the command word. We say it when we give the command, and then when the dog does it and it gets the reward. Not even a good sit, because they key on the first sound they hear. So sit, when the dog sits, I pet it and say sit. That's it. After a while, if you get in a habit of doing this hand motion to put your dog into a sit, every time you do it, it's a mini dog behavior training session that you engage in without spending any time or effort. After a while, you'll be having a conversation here, you just put the dog in a sit, pet the dog, and have two conversations simultaneously. This is really a gift. If everybody in the family gets in a habit of doing it, take you about a week or two to get into a habit of always asking your dog to do it, you're going to start noticing the dog feels better about himself because he's earning it. And we're taking the responsibility of pressure and the pressure off because he can't tell you what to do anymore. I can ask. Your child's not in charge of your mortgage payment. You guys are. If he was in charge, he'd be really stressed out about it. But because we're better equipped to handle that, we handle those for ourselves. The more that we can relieve responsibilities and take the stress off the dog, the more relaxed he's going to feel. Petting with a purpose is the easiest thing that you can do that will have the biggest impact on your dog. So always ask your dog to sit or lay down, pet it after that, or change its state. If it's already sitting, ask it to lie down. And you can pet it for an hour after that, but it just has to start out by changing its state. That's petting with a purpose.